student athletes. We'll dismiss them, and then we will have questions for Coach. So are we good? Yep. Okay, let me just start this recording.
Recording in progress.
Okay, go ahead, Coach.
All right. Just want to start. The guy that does our chapel is from Nations of Coaches. Raul Ortiz. He talked to us about just leaving nothing in the tank. That a lot of spiritual things in it, but just basically the thought is, hey, what are you going to do for each other? Pour it all out for each other. And that's what these guys are doing. They're pouring it all out for each other. And I thought the play of the game was when Zion was the first to the floor. He brings in the loose ball, goes there and makes the 2 free throws to seal it. But there were lots and lots of big plays. And you can see these 2 guys are going to lead us, whether they're scoring or not scoring, assisting or not assisting. What they're leading with is their spirit. With their spirit and their competitiveness, their competitive spirit. And when you have guys that are committed to the team, that are committed to doing whatever it takes, that's you see other guys raising the level. And I'm just so happy for these guys for all that they've put in. Now that's getting to reap the rewards of it. We used to we were going to 2-a-days in the fall, and we go at our gym. Then we were going to Malibu High School. We're going to wherever we needed to go to get that second practice in. So you know what? All that they put in the bank, and they're getting to cash it in now. So I'm so happy for them.
Okay, questions for the student athletes. We'll start right here in the front.
Okay, Mo, 3 nights, and you got another one. Yeah. Could you have imagined what's unfolded so far?
100%. 100%. Me and Coach Schill had an hour conversation about what's our goal for this tournament. Things with the transfer portal and stuff and that. I told him, we're locked in. I'm locked in. I'm not worried about nothing else but this tournament, and that's exactly what we came to do, is win games. We're not here to visit Vegas. We're not here to explore Vegas. We're here to come play basketball and win games.
As always, first of all, credits to the Santa Clara for a hard game. They played, great team. Even though they out-rebounded, we find a way. We have a phrase that we always say, find a way or find an excuse. We definitely found a way today. And everybody asking about my scoring and everything, but it's easy. That's the easiest part of the job when you have a leader like this, control the ball, control the game, just follow his lead. Coach had and everybody on the bench. And I think just as he said, we're not here to visit Vegas. We're here to stay, and that's what's happening. We're here to stay, and we play tomorrow. We're still playing.
Stephen, a lot of people watch college basketball kind of, be honest, on occasion during the season, then they watch it real closely once it gets to March. So for the average college basketball fan who hasn't seen or read much about Mo Odom until now he or she has seen him the past 3 nights, what would you tell that casual fan about Mo beyond what he's done the past 3 nights?
Mo, he said yesterday, we go way back, and Mo is the guy that you just got to lead. You just got to follow. Just follow his lead, and not on the court, and off the court too. Everybody follow his lead, from the freshmen to seniors, from the coaches. He talked to everybody, and when you follow his lead, I think all talents that you have just show up on the court.
For either of you, coaches exclaimed about your guys' fight. You guys have never wilted across any run from any opponent so far. What about your guys' day-to-day recovery in this sequence of games has you guys still in the right condition?
Yesterday after the game, we took an IV, so that was good. We got our fluids back and stuff, and then after all the other games, we stretch out with Coach Matt Young, our strength coach. So we're really on it. We're really on it. Coach Matt don't play around. He makes sure he get us right after the game and make us stretch, so we can get back and do what we're doing. That's win games.
For either of you, each of these 3 games have almost played very similarly out. You guys have been down, you have come back. Kind of talk about the confidence that you guys have almost grown over the course of the last few days, because it seems like we're almost now able to predict what's exactly going to happen. You guys get down and you're able to come back and pull it out.
That's exactly what we said in the halftime. We were down against Portland. We were down against Oregon State. We were down today. No matter how many points we're down, we're still gonna go out there and play the first 4 minutes. We always say in first 4 minutes, the second half decides the game. So I think all 3 games we came out of the halftime ready to go, no matter of score. So I think that's what helped us to win those games.
Any other questions? Oh, right here.
Yeah, being able to watch you guys the last couple of days has been incredible. Obviously, you finally played against my team today, which was cool. The thing I was the most impressed by, though, today, compared to the other ones, was your defense, especially on the three-point line against Santa Clara. They started off real hot. I think they were like 6-12 or something like that. Then you guys really locked it down, especially down the stretch. Playing 3 games in 3 days, how important for either of you is that defense? And where do you get the energy to keep doing it, playing like 37, 38 a night?
We get the energy from the man above, God. We pray every day. We pray as a team every single day. He give us the effort. He give us the energy to come in, play defense, and leave it all out on the floor because we will rest later.
That's right.
Right here in the front.
Mo, can you just talk about the challenge that St. Mary's presents tomorrow? They're not going to want to play an 85-80 game, obviously. You know that.
Yeah.
So what do you guys have to do to be able to cope with them and make this work another night?
I feel like we just got to be us. We don't have to. We don't need to worry about St. Mary's and the way they play. We have to worry about Pepperdine, the way we play, and what's gotten us to this point. And that's effort, and that's energy, and that's defense.
Any other questions for the student athletes?
I'll stick around for another couple of days.
Of course.
Great job.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good night, y'all.
Thank you.
Okay, questions for Coach?
Yes.
Coach, Nick Pecora, Santa Clara Student Radio. You talked a little bit in the previous press conference after last night's game. You said that Herb Sendek is a guy that you've kind of followed for years. You've had a relationship with him. He's someone you really admire. Can you talk a little bit about the kind of chess match you were engaged in tonight? What did you see him throwing at you, and how did you make those adjustments throughout the game to result in another comeback victory?
Well, Herb is a guy that's so well respected for decades. He also coached at my alma mater, Miami of Ohio, after I was done, and so I've known him since we were out of college and trying to get into the coaching business. He worked for Rick Pitino, and just a tremendous guy, tremendous X's and O man, but also what he has ingrained in that team. They are so difficult to defend. I mean, we kind of knew what they were going to do. We tried to prepare the best we could, and boom, they got threes off, and we were just fortunate. They missed some, and we got some balls when we needed it, but Herb put those guys in tremendous positions to maximize their potential. He found they had the young man off the bench that played so well, and he kept him in. And he's a master. And we were fortunate today to be able to hang in there. We had some guys make some plays. We ran some stuff that we haven't run in a long time, a variation to our normal half court offense. That kind of freed us up for some buckets. So we were fortunate. We had some, fortunately we had it in our back pocket and we threw it out. Guys executed it. We were very fortunate, and Herb's as good a coach as there is in the business, and I'm honored to coach against him, and I'm just grateful we got a win too.
Right here in the front.
The guys are up, a lot of momentum, but what do you do tonight to sort of get them back some strength and some rest, and how much energy do you expect them to have tomorrow? I mean, you expect this again?
Well, I don't know that you need energy against St. Mary's, but you need a whole lot of other stuff against St. Mary's. They got the whole package. They've got experience. They've got talented players. We just want to be the best version of Pepperdine. And one thing about us, we talk about our practices. We want our practices to be harder than games. And that's why in the preseason, that's why we're going 2-a-days. And I said, we'll drive all over Malibu and anywhere else to get that second practice in until our beautiful facility's built in another year, the mountain, check it out. But until that thing's built, we'll go wherever we got to do to get a second practice. And what we're trying to do is we're putting things in. We're trying to store. We're stacking double days so that we're prepared for days like this. If you'd have watched, you hear our guys, you talk to them, they don't look tired. And we're going to say, hey, we practice day after day. Well, let's play day after day. And so we're not talking about any excuse about, hey, you know, we had a guy on our team that's apartment burned down, lost everything he had. So we're not worried about being tired. We're going to go out and we're going to be the best version of Pepperdine. Is that good enough to beat St. Mary's? I don't know. Nobody thought we were good enough to beat Santa Clara or Oregon State or Portland. I'm not follow all that lines and all that stuff. But we were heavy underdogs yesterday. We were even heavier underdogs today. So we're not worried about that. We just need to be the best that we can be. We'll prepare the best we can. But the bottom line is, St. Mary's, we know how great they are. Everybody in the country knows how great they are. We got to try to be the best, be as great a Pepperdine basketball team that we can be and try to represent our phenomenal university.
Coach, kind of following up on that, and I think you addressed it a little bit before, but the fact that St. Mary's plays a fairly slow-paced game, might that be to your advantage, fourth game in 4 nights?
I don't know about that because they may play a slower pace, but it's hard to get a bucket against them, you know. So, you know, however it works, but they're just a terrific basketball team. Everything is hard for them. I had the good fortune of coaching against them last year in the NCAA tournament and played against them twice this year. Man, Coach, what they're doing at St. Mary's is phenomenal. It's a model program. And you know what? We want someday the people, when they say Pepperdine, man, our goal someday is to say, hey, it's like a St. Mary's, you know, in terms of the respect that they have from coast to coast and around the world. Obviously, they recruit internationally. We want to have that type of respect around the world.
Ed, you've detailed the fight every single night that you've been in here. And it doesn't just show up overnight with every single time that you've responded. What about the preparation all the way dating back to summer and fall has led to this Pepperdine team taking on all comers?
Well, again, we've been very fortunate. I mean, we're fighting, and we were fighting all season. If you watched us, we came on the short end of many of those games, but we continued to fight even in losing the final score. And so I'm just happy that we've continued to fight just like we did at St. Mary's, like we did all through this season. Right now we've been fortunate that we've gotten a little bit better gradually throughout the year. And to be able to have some shots go down and some big plays go our way, as much as anything, I just so thankful for it because it validates the process for our guys. And some of the younger guys and even the guys in the program that, yeah, you stick with it, it'll work. And we never gave up during the season, and they're getting to see the results of that now. And so that's what I'm most grateful for.
Coach Sam Canala, Santa Clara Student Radio. Great game again from you guys. I have to ask you about Bubakar. He had 4 fouls again today, had 4 fouls yesterday. Could you talk a little bit about the job Dozic has done filling in for him?
Yeah, he's starting to get it. You know, he didn't play in one of our games because he was sick, our last regular season game. And so, you know, he's had a heck of a year. He's a young kid. He's a teenager coming in here and had 7 weeks with a broken foot. And so he missed the first 7 weeks of the season. And he's starting to get better. And then he got sick. And so it's great to see him. One thing that he hasn't lost is his confidence. The guys joke on the team. He says, you know, Danilo always thinks he's open, you know, so he's going to let it go. And you saw he made some big shots for us. And I think he's getting more confidence with his experience.
Any other questions here in the room? Okay, we have someone online. Do you have a question? If you'd like to, raise your hand. Going once, going twice. Okay, congrats, Coach, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, we'll start with a statement from Coach Sendek about the game, and then we'll have questions for the student athletes. When we're done with the questions for the student athletes, we'll dismiss them and have questions for Coach Sendek. Coach.
You know, I'd just like to credit Pepperdine. Obviously, they've had 3 tremendous games here in Las Vegas already this week. They're playing at a really high level. What Mo Odom and Stefan Taborovich are doing is simply incredible. It reminds me of certain conference tournament performances years past. You know, I know I'm older than most of you, but I go back to what Randolph Childress did for Wake Forest in the ACC tournament years ago, or a little more recently, Kemba Walker for Connecticut in the Big East tournament, where they won 5 or 6 consecutive games to make the dance. And those 2 guys are playing at an elite level. Odom really is the engine that makes them go. Again, 13 assists tonight. He does it night in, night out. He was a 37% three-point shooter on the year, but now he's elevated that part of his game to another level, and he just makes everybody better. And obviously, Todorovic, with his great size at 2 guard, needing no time and space to get the shot off, now scoring at all 3 levels, is, you know, really, really in a groove. So tremendous credit to Coach Schilling and his staff, and the way those guys have come together. They're playing loose. They're obviously having fun. I think Odom has given them tremendous vocal leadership as it's needed throughout these games, watching them. And so, you know, from our standpoint, I think the story is to, with great respect, recognize what Pepperdine is doing right now.
Okay, questions for the student athletes? Let's start here in the front.
Brenton, the 3-ball was falling for you guys early, and you had, I think, a 13-point lead real early in the game. It was like 21-8 or something like that. Did people just cool off, or did they adjust to you guys, or what do you think happened? Because the percentage didn't stay as high as it was early.
I pretty much feel like that we started, since we was feeling it, you know, we started taking quicker shots than we were supposed to. And just taking a lot of contested shots and not really moving the ball as much. Yeah, I feel like that we could have done better in that area.
You're saying you just weren't patient enough to get the right shots?
Yeah, pretty much.
Some of those times, yeah. Tyree, had you watched them play the previous 2 nights at all, and what's your impression of what they've been able to do and tonight at the expense of you guys?
They played really well. Yeah, I watched a little bit of the game last night. Just been playing really well. They really play fast. They're big. They rebound really well. So it's just been having like a really good week so far.
How's it going, Tyree? Sam Canal, Santa Clara Student Radio. You've shown up in big games for Santa Clara, I would say, all year. The 2 Gonzaga games, I think, are the most notable. You had a great game against Washington State as well. Another great game tonight as well, especially from 3. You hit that long one late in the game. That was really, really nice, but too little, too late, I guess. I guess maybe your thoughts on your season overall, and also your 3-point shooting that I feel like has improved throughout the year.
I feel like we had a really good season so far. I feel like this was a really good team to do it, to win it all. Fortunately, we came up short. But all year, I feel like we gelled really well as a team, and then today just didn't go our way. So that's all I have to say.
Any other questions for the student athletes?
BK, throughout these last couple of years, it's basically once you get an opportunity, you seem to seize it by the horns. When it comes to having a big-time chance at an opportunity next year as one of the lead guards, how do you envision your future as one of Santa Clara's lead guards?
Just becoming more of a leader, of course. Like, just keep doing what I'm doing. Just, you know, finding my guys and try to get them open and just pretty much keep getting my shots off whenever I can, you know. But, yeah, with the group of guys that's coming in next year and everything, and hopefully most of the guys stay. I feel like, we're gonna be pretty good still. We have a great chance next year, of course. But yeah, I feel like, anytime I get my chance, like on the court, I'm gonna just try to make the right play every time. So.
Any other questions for the student athletes? Okay, thanks, guys. Okay, questions for Coach?
Herb, obviously you guys have been very successful shooting a lot of threes this year. Did you get too married to it tonight? And do you think that harmed you, or was it not how many you took, but the way you took them?
Yeah, I don't have any particular number of threes that we set out to take. We certainly recognize the mathematical power of the three-point shot, both offensively and then defending it on the other end. So if there's a game where we take 45 threes, that's not necessarily relevant. That probably says that's what the defense is allowing us to do. The issue I have is if we're taking threes that we don't call advantage threes, okay? And I thought we had uncharacteristically too many of those this evening. So it's not the total number. That could be very misleading. And part of the number of threes that a team takes in a given game isn't a function of what they want to do, but what the defense is deciding to take away. You can't take away everything, so you make choices, right? And so, in football, if you put everybody on the line of scrimmage, it may be harder to run the ball. That doesn't mean you don't want to run the ball, but is that what you're going to do a preponderance of the time when that's how the line is stacked? So it's not an arbitrary number. What it is, though, is a function of playing the right way within our system and taking advantage twos, advantage threes. And I just thought, even from the beginning of the game, it wasn't as obvious early, but I knew we took at least 2 or 3 early that weren't Santa Clara threes. It didn't show up at that time. But then as the game went on and it became close and ultimately they took the lead, I thought in too many instances guys tried to break away from what we do and kind of say, hey, I got to be the hero right now and I got to make a play. And that typically doesn't work. I guess there's some guys, who can do that on a regular basis in our game. Usually they play in the NBA. There's a few in college. But what's made our team offensively so good this year is our ability to move the basketball and play the right way. And for whatever reason, I wish I could tell you the answer tonight. Not that we didn't do it, but there were too many possessions that we didn't do it. And when you're playing good teams in March, the margin for error, the difference between winning and losing can be razor thin. It's not, we can go back through the tape and there's going to be countless of possessions of woulda, coulda, shoulda. No different than Oregon State looked at the tape today, or even Portland the first night.
Next question. Go ahead.
Yeah, Herb, you mentioned, this team has done a lot of really good things. So I'm not telling any tales out of school, so to speak. I'm sure you and your players are disappointed you're probably not going to be playing in the NCAA tournament, but you almost assuredly are going to be playing another game. So how do you deal with the disappointment over the next week plus and get your team ready to play the next game?
Yeah, I think we rely on our culture. Our culture allows us to tell each other the truth, and I already shared part of that with them. but simultaneously thank them for their efforts throughout the season. So I think it starts by just being honest with each other, you know. But I think at the same time we do it in a very positive way. We try to teach rather than berate. We try to stay together. None of us like the outcome. You know, sleeping's going to be hard. We don't like the taste in our mouth. It hurts because we're competitors, right? We want to win. We invest a lot in this, you know, in this game. But the reality is you don't win them all. And so the key will be our response. And, you know, I think it's a characteristic of our program that we're pretty resilient. We're pretty even-keeled. We usually don't get too high or too low. You know, we do have instances on our schedule where we'll lose a game, for example, at LMU on Thursday and turn around and somehow go to Gonzaga and win on Saturday. And that's the nature of basketball. So woe it to the person who spends too much time commiserating in self-pity about what just happened, because the next thing's coming quickly. And our team has done a pretty good job of, you know, honestly digesting what does happen. But then, you know, I really, you know, we want to have a culture of joy. We want it to be uplifting and learning. There's nobody, we didn't necessarily play our best tonight, but I can tell you for a fact there's nobody that didn't want to play well. Like, there's nobody going out there and, you know, man, I hope I screw up tonight. And the same with the coaches, right? I mean, we made mistakes tonight, and, you know, none of us feel good about that. And but we don't want to dwell on that. We want to learn from that.
All right, right here. Did you? Yeah. Yeah. Last question here.
Sam Canales, Santa Clara Student Radio. First thing, I just want to thank you for a great season. Really, really fun to watch. My question being, you guys the last couple of years have been trending in the right direction. You had your most conference wins at Santa Clara this year. You guys have had 20-plus wins the last couple of years in a row. You have 4 starters leaving. Somebody that is staying, it sounds like, is Napper. He had a great game tonight. He's had a couple great games down the stretch. Maybe your outlook for him as your starting point guard next year, albeit with the transfer portal, it might change.
Yeah. You know, we'll have time to look at all that. You know, hopefully our season isn't over. And it's important to us to stay in the present moment, you know, be where our feet are. And so let's finish this season the best we can. Hopefully it's not finished yet. And then there'll be plenty of time to put together our roster and our plan for next year. But right now that's a little bit premature because, you know, we're planning on being at practice on Tuesday.
Okay. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.